And I lived in Texas, Mississippi, Philadelphia, and then Miami. And I decided to leave Campus Crusade, and I found I'd always wanted to be involved in law. And I thought I would want to be a lawyer after watching Perry Mason. But I decided that, anyway, I found out that they had a paralegal school in Miami, the University of Miami. So it was a 2-year through the continuing education. So I finished that and moved to Dallas and did not find a job there, but I moved back to Little Rock and started working at Wright, Lindsay and Jennings in litigation, which is what I wanted. So I thought, oh great, I can be involved in litigation but not be the upfront person.
Yeah.
But I started attending Fellowship Bible Church, and they became involved in a theological school in Poland. And the school started just as communism was ending. And it was an interdenominational school, because under communism, churches, unless you were the Catholic Church, the churches were very kind of closed to to each other. They didn't know who to trust. And so they wanted to start a school that was interdenominational and opened opportunities for people to, in Poland, probably about 95% of the people are Catholic, and non-Catholics are about, and evangelical are like Baptist, Pentecostal, 0.03% out of 38 million people. So the goal was not to turn people into Baptist or Methodist, but to present Jesus Christ and work through local churches. And the school was in Polish for the Polish people. Because a lot of times in the past, people would come to teach, but they would teach in English, and then things would have to be translated. So people were not studying the Bible in their own language. So I first visited Poland in 1987 when it was still under communism. And that was in fact, here, I couldn't tell anyone where I was going. So I would say, well, I'm going to visit Vienna, maybe Amsterdam, West Berlin, and some other places in between. And those other places in between was in Poland. And because it was not safe for the people that we were visiting in Poland for them to know. We were just there to be tourists. Just a few years earlier was buying a condominium, and my car was about 2 years old, and I had a cute little cat named Zorro. And I thought, okay, I have a career, a cat, a condo, and a car. But I really prayed and sought what God would want. And I discussed it with I wasn't married, so it wasn't like I had to worry about a husband and my parents were still alive, but they were in pretty good health, so, and they were happy for me to consider it. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I needed to do it then. And Ray Lynn was around as I went through this process. Anyway, I went what I thought was a couple of years, and I stayed another year, and another year, and that was 18 years ago. So when I got there, I was involved in the theological school, but I also helped to plan the camps for women, English camps. And that was kind of a year-long process of planning for a week or two in the summer. But I worked with other Polish women in planning it. I have a Polish roommate who teaches English, and so that helps. I've learned enough Polish, because when I got there I said, okay, do you want me to become fluent in Polish? They said, no, we need for you to immediately start working on these projects for the school. And so I said, okay, I'll take private lessons. So I'd walk out of my private lessons and go and do English. So But I can manage shopping. I go to someone that doesn't speak English for my haircut. If you don't like it, I'm sorry.
You can't tell me.
Misunderstood.
You can't tell her anything else.
Well, what I do is if I have any changes from the previous time, then I call my roommate and they discuss it. And then my roommate says, "You're going to get this." But I can tell her if I want it shorter or something. But I feel comfortable. The only two times that I don't want to go alone is if I'm doing something medical, because I do want to know what the doctor is saying. Although I have a dentist that speaks beautiful English. I don't fortunately have any real serious health problems, at least that I know of now. I don't take that many medications, so, but I do have a doctor that speaks English for my eye doctor, so I go once a year to see her, and so that, and then when I'm renewing my residency permit, I like to make sure I know, and the people, inspectors who work on our file, the cases, they usually speak English because they have people from all over. But Poland is part of the European Union. It's a member of NATO. Some people have said, what do they think of Trump? They generally like him because he's, seems to have a tougher stance on Russia.
How safe is it there?
I feel very safe. I mean, it's like here, there's certain, I don't wander around 10 o'clock at night on, certain neighborhoods, but
Yeah, looks like here.
guns are not legal unless you have you have to have a permit, and most Poles just don't understand why would anyone want a gun. I mean, that's real foreign to them, and that they might use a knife or something on you, but knives are legal. But for the most part, I feel safe.
What's your most favorite thing about it?
Well,
Tough question.
yeah, it is. Because there's a lot of favorite things. I guess I've been there long enough that I feel comfortable in that culture. And I don't know how much, I'm your age, so. But I think, well, both my parents have died since 2012. I don't have children or grandchildren, so it's not like I have lovely nieces and nephews, but they have their lives. And so I think, well, as long as I'm healthy and I feel like this is where God wants me, then that's where I want to be. And I see the theological school is not just teaching theology, but they have a program for seniors, and this has been well received. Because there's certain things here that we're used to, and they're like assisted living places. They're not that common. They have them, but most times the grandmother goes or grandfather and lives with the family, and they take care of this person until, and so that means, and sometimes they're in, you're in like a not 3-bedroom, but 3-room flat. And one room is taken by grandmother and the other, by the parents or whoever. Disability, I mean, there's a lot of things about Poland that it's, a lot of times we have these images of people with scars and with animals and, plowing with their horses. And that's not, I guess some of that still happens. But Poland is fairly, is modernized. We have a mall probably nicer than Park Plaza that's called Magnolia Park. And you go to the food court and there you've got Subway, Pizza Hut, McDonald's,
Just like home.
yeah.
But they didn't have chocolate chips when you went over.
No, and they still don't have chocolate chips, but they have very good chocolate, so I've learned you just chop it up.
Yeah.
And you have chunky chocolate.
Well, where do you worship?
I go to an international church that is connected with the First Baptist Church. But it's, and the international church, because there's people from Africa and all over Europe. And one Sunday, we were asked to, name out what country we were from, and there were 18 different countries.
Wow.
China, Taiwan, and some people are there as students, some are there as in business, some are working there, they're in IT, and so they're working. There's a Volvo plant, Toyota has a plant there, there's an IKEA, it's, so there's not a, yeah.
Rebecca? Car?
My roommate has one,
So
so,
they drive on the right side, like we're here?
and they do have a little bit different, like, they don't have as many stop signs. So they have a sign that's kind of a, like, double triangle, and that's the main road, has a yellow square in the middle. And then, and I if you're on that road, you have the right to. But you yield to the person on the right. So you have to be, if you're approaching an intersection that doesn't have that sign and doesn't have a stop sign or a light, traffic light, then I have to yield. If I keep going and they hit me, then it's my fault.
What's the food like?
Food is very good. Now, we don't have whole hog, but, so I've eaten at some places here that I don't normally get there. But, my roommate and I have learned, it was funny, one time we had some ladies from Great Britain who came for a camp. There were 3 of them, and we invited them over for dinner. So my roommate served baked chicken, baked potato, and salad. At the end of the meal, and at the end of the meal, this British lady said, "I just love Polish food." And my roommate didn't have the heart to tell him, "This is not Polish food." She said, and she told me later, "I learned to make that in Great Britain." So.
What would be a typical Polish meal?
Yeah.
Like kielbasa, which is a sausage, potatoes.
She's trying to tell you, Larry.
I like potatoes.
Yeah, you can eat as healthy or not healthy as you want to. But you can eat well there.
Fresh vegetables
Oh
and things
yeah,
like that.
they have vegetables. You go into a grocery store, like a Walmart. The French have a Carrefour, which is very similar to Walmart because they have the food side and then they have a clothing side and they have whatever else you might want.
TV?
TV?
Do they have TV?
Oh yeah.
Well, I could live there.
Yeah.
They have Channel 49. They have my TV.
For a while they even
And Netflix, do you
No,
have Netflix?
well, you can get,
Without that.
you can get almost anything in terms of the internet. My roommate and I, sometimes we go to Amazon and we rent a movie for $5. And we have access to it for 2 days. And that's cheaper than, even going to a movie there. The movies, like English movies that are in English usually have Polish subtitles. So.
This be similar to ours and stuff like gasoline and.
Gas is higher. It's about $5 a gallon. And so.
But their cars get such good gas mileage though, don't they?
Well, depends on your car. We have a 2005 Ford. That's what my roommate has. So. But that's not, it's a Ford Focus. But you can get, you're seeing more, here I feel kind of like, this little person with all these big cars, but there, the cars are more sedan size. But I'm beginning to see more and more SUVs.
How much?